It's December 17th at 9 a.m. We'll call the Wright County Board of Commissioners to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. I'm glad to see it's well attended here on one of our second to the last meetings of 2019. I'm guessing everybody's here for ditch items. Probably not. With that, we'll move forward to dispensing and reading of and approval of the minutes from 12/3.
Mr. Chair, I will move those minutes.
All right.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hewsome, second by Commissioner Dahlheiden. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Today's agenda, does anyone like to make any modifications?
Mr. Chair, one question was, I'm assuming that was for just the AM meeting?
Correct.
We also have the 12.
Oh, that's right, yep, I'm
That's
sorry, yeah, that's
Single
right.
taxation meeting.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the truth and taxation for the 6 p.m. one.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Dahlheiden, second by Commissioner Potter for the evening meeting on December 3rd. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Today's agenda, circle back to it. Is there any modifications, Administrator Kelly, or additions?
No, other than I will point out, we will need to cancel the owners committee meeting for tomorrow for the government center due to scheduling conflicts, so.
Too many things at the same time.
Correct.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented here.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Potter, second by Commissioner Dahlheiden. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Today's agenda is adopted. Today's consent agenda, as lengthy as it is there anything that anyone would like to remove for further discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All
I'll
right.
second that.
Motion by Commissioner Dahlheiden, second by Commissioner Hewsome. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Consent agenda is approved unanimously. We are now moving right on time to the timed item 902, Sue Virgin, the Assistant County Administrator, introduction of our new communications specialist, John Holler.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This is a person that I don't think needs really much of an introduction. He's very well known to the board and to the county. He's covered board commissioners for the last 25 years. He predates Commissioner Pat Swatsky on being on county board meetings, so he's been around Wright County for a long time. His background in media is extensive and includes working for the print, radio, and electronic media industries. His knowledge of Wright County government, many of the employees in the county, and the residents of Wright County will be an asset in his role as our communication specialist. John Holler.
So all these people are here for you, John, this morning.
I didn't recognize him. I've never seen him dressed up like that before. And his hair's even done, too.
This is his new uniform, I hear. Is in the, you just got 6 different color suits, and
Nice.
I heard you have a lime green one, too.
The rich one.
I'll let the beating end and we'll get to something happy. I just want to say it's really great to be working for the Wright County.
Yeah, thank you.
John.
John? Charlie's got questions.
No, there's one more wanted to say, and I mean, the board, they can throw some little jokes around and stuff, but the reason is because we're so comfortable with John. Literally, we've worked with him since day one, and actually before probably some of us even took office, so it's not insulting. I think it's friendly little jibes. But the thing is, we are really so lucky, I believe, to have you on board with the vast knowledge that you have of our county. And as a communications specialist, I think you're going to be fantastic in it. And working for Sue, you won't have a better boss. So, all right.
We've already hit the ground running, so.
Commissioner Potter.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. And John, what you bring to the table is you understand governance and how it's structured and the players that we have here. Because each county is unique in the people that we have out there, and you need to be able to communicate with all of them. And I think you bring that to the table because there is a level of trust that you bring in. I think you're one of those few that I can call a journalist that's really good at what you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if I could dovetail on that, you just mentioned about trust, and that's something that over the 6 years that I've been on the board, John has never, if I said that, this is just between you and me, that's where it stayed. And I think that's the kind of a guy he is. And, it's really nice to have that kind of a person working in our county and representing not just the board, but the entire echelon of departments and whatever. So we'll deal with the public, and he'll do a great job. So thank you.
Welcome
Mr.
aboard.
Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Dolan.
did his head just grow a few inches?
I was thinking the way these guys are talking, it almost sounds like you're ending your career and you're retiring. I mean,
No, I just really looking forward to it.
thank you, John.
And Mr. Chair, we got to keep him up there till he starts crying.
And now, Mike, he may just be saving up all those secrets for the book he's writing later. No.
All right, now that we're just a couple minutes behind, we'll keep moving here. We're at our 9:03 timed item. Tony Rasmussen, County Assessor, presentation of retirement plaque.
Morning, Board.
Morning.
Over the last 19 years, I've had the privilege of working with Jim Barrett. More than 3 decades ago, Jim had a very interesting past, working as a car salesman and later as a radio announcer. This was naturally the background and skills for an assessor to land a job as an assessor in Todd County. Jim worked for Todd County for 6 years, saw an opportunity to go to Wright County when Dwayne Swenson retired, and Jerry Kritzik hired him in 2000. He actually commuted from Long Prairie to Buffalo, and I don't know how long, Jim, you did that, but it just seemed crazy to me. But he finally purchased a home in Buffalo Township and has resided there ever since. He's worked for the county as an accredited assessor and has been assigned to the city of Buffalo during his entire tenure while working with us. Never let us down if we asked him for help with special projects or assistance with other appraisers' districts. He's always been conscientious of his assessment, the public he serves, and has always been the utmost professional. Jim's provided leadership to all our office staff. It's brought a cohesiveness to our group, made us a team, really a family, and he has been our rock. On behalf of our office, we commemorate your service with a plaque signifying the 19 years of service you've had with the county. Jim, we wish you the best in your retirement. You live close by. We hope you make an effort to come visit from time to time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Speech.
No, speech, yeah.
Each.
Thank you, Warden, and to the Pro Board for my early release. That long commute was so well worth it to come down here and find such a wonderful group of people, and I need to thank this board and previous boards for all of their cooperation and support for our office. And the work family that I was able to be a part of is just so outstanding. It's just unbelievable the level of training these people have and their dedication to their jobs and to just pulling everything together when the time is called for. I've got special thanks for somebody in our office, and that's Dawn Nolte. As things get more complicated, she's the one I would go to make sure that I kept on track. And not only her, but other people in the office. But it was a good thing, and I've told Dawn this, it's a good thing she was so close by, because I would wear out my shoes walking to her so many times during the week. But it's just been such a wonderful experience and a wonderful place. And not only that, I need to thank the people of Buffalo, too, the administration and the citizens. For over 19 years having a district, that's really saying something. And I'm very much appreciative of it. And to the management in our office and my work family, thank you very much. Thank you.
Jim, when do you actually retire? Are you done today already?
December 31st.
Okay, so the end of the year.
Yeah, that's my release date.
They give you the cardboard box then, and
I've got two of them.
The cardboard box and the police escort out the building.
Thank you so much for all your
Thank you.
wonderful service.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
we do have wonderful, wonderful staff here at Wright County.
Yes,
and
we
as
do.
you can see, we can't thank them enough for all the time and effort that they put in, and it's always bittersweet to see great workers get to have the finer part of life. So
Yeah.
that's great.
If we could ask a picture with the board.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Where are you heading after the first? Florida?
What part of Florida?
Hang on.
Okay.
Winter Haven? Summer Haven?
Here, Nancy.
See, Matt walks in the room and look at everybody leaves. All right, now we're down to the 9:07. Captain Hoffman isn't here, so I'm guessing Shauna will be taking the role on this item.
Good morning. Captain Hoffman sends his apologies. He's detained on another matter. We just need to make a request to schedule a E911 Planning Committee meeting for January 20th to discuss the armor connectivity, the dispatch center, and then the backup dispatch center.
Perfect.
And that's Charlie and Christine?
Yeah.
Christine.
And do we have the time in that yet? Or?
I have not heard of
Okay.
one.
So are we not closed on that day? Or we are
If
closed?
we are, yes.
So the week, sometime during that
Oh,
week.
I'm
the whole
sorry.
week.
Okay. I read the 20th.
No, it had to be on the
Yeah.
20th.
Yeah, right.
So you said January 20th?
The week
Week
of.
of
The
January
week of
20th.
January.
So we don't have a firm date yet.
No, we,
Somewhere during that week. I mean, some options, it is committee week that week. You could think about the afternoon of Wednesday, the 22nd, or perhaps after the board on the 21st. Just a few options.
might the 21st work after the board meeting at 10:30?
Yes, ma'am.
Does that work
Charlie?
for Charlie?
So
January 21st at 10:30. Thank you.
Thanks, Shauna.
Perfect. All right.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to schedule a 911 Planning Committee meeting for January 21st at 10:30.
No, second it.
We have a motion by Commissioner Potter, second by Commissioner Dahlheiden for a 911 Planning Committee for January 21st at 10:30 a.m. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. It is scheduled unanimously. All right. Now we're moving on. We're moving quite swiftly here to the 909. Tracy Janakula has the review of the Wright County Feedlot Grant Agreement and authorize signatures.
Thank you, Commissioners. Tracy Janakula, I'm here to kind of explain a little more on the grant agreement with regards to the feedlot portion. Generally, in the past, it's been part of the Natural Resources Block Grant that came with shoreland and soil and water stuff like wetlands, and they separated it out. And so this is a separate signature required. They also changed it so that it will be an electronic signature. And so Commissioner Vetch will receive that email and he will sign it electronically. So this is just a paper version of the language that he will receive. The grant changes slightly with the number of feedlots that are registered at the state-required registration levels. So on the second page, the total amount, $64,802, varies every 2 to 4 years, depending on the cycle of registration updates. So this is a 2-year grant agreement. The number will stay constant. The county is required to match $19,076, and then the rest of that is just grant.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner.
Tracy, I sat in on the, I don't know if you were on the phone the other day on the meeting up at AMC for the feedlot, the County Feedlot Association people, but they were kind of had a talk, and it seemed to me like the state might be cutting back on some of the funding. They weren't, it seemed like there was a little bit of dissatisfaction with the amount of money that the state was paying for the amount of time and the number of feedlots that they have in their counties. Are you on board with that line of thinking as well?
Currently, what the state legislature has appropriated for the feedlot, for the whole state for delegated programs is a constant number. I think it's been constant for like 14 years. We've been requesting each legislative session to have more. It hasn't happened.
And just through inflation, I mean, your wages have gone up from 14 years, and so has everybody else's in the state.
Correct.
And then probably the duties that get added on to you are not going down either, are they?
No, the paperwork has definitely increased.
And that was another thing they talked about, was the paperwork too. And they're going to the electronic thing, and some of them are not necessarily on the computer savvy people. So it's like you have some people that are like kind of a little resistant to that, so yeah.
Yeah, the state is hoping to implement a online registration later this winter. They don't have a go-live date. Keeps getting pushed back, but.
And I was surprised, they said that the feedlot officer, after doing an inspection, can sign off on, like, for the person's signature, the feedlot officers can actually sign it and send it in, whatever.
Yeah, the feedlot registration can be done by anybody who has knowledge of the operation
Okay,
itself.
I never knew that. It was just,
officer,
I learned a
yes.
couple things while I sat in there, so anyway, that was it. That's all I had.
I've signed a
Dahlin?
few registrations. I will interview the person over the phone,
Yeah.
and they'll
And
tell
then
me
just,
how
and
many
let
animals
them
they
know that
have,
I'm signing this and
I will
sending
sign
in.
it, yes.
Yeah, that's interesting, so.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Dahlin.
Tracy, for the public, what is a feedlot and how many do we have?
Trick question.
Not to put you on the spot or anything.
That's his job.
Do you want the registered at the state level, or do you want the whole number in the county?
The county.
Okay.
I'm not so concerned about the rest of it, I'm just concerned about our county.
We are funded for approximately 286.
And a feedlot is 6 chickens, right?
No, one.
A feedlot is anywhere where animals are confined, held, fed, raised, where manure accumulates, barns, dirt lots, concrete lots.
Except for
And-
dogs and cats.
Yeah, we exempt the pets, dogs and cats, and rabbits are a gray area. If you raise them for meat, they're
That's
livestock.
Depending on how many rabbits are there, I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tracy, you said that 14 years you've been unable to secure more funding through the state. My suggestion is you become an arm of the University of Minnesota Twin Cities campus. They've been very successful in getting money from the legislature every single session. That would help because, because they get money all the time regardless of what goes on. And with feedlot, like I say, we got to protect the waters and that, but just a little levity there. But that's, you get under their auspices and you'll probably get more money.
Yeah, we'll keep working on it.
I'll make a motion to accept the feedlot grant from the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Dahlin and second by Commissioner Hewsome. Any further discussion?
Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Potter?
Tracy, thank you for the job you do on behalf of Wright County, like protect our lands.
You're welcome, thank you.
And I will
Not
watch
always
for
easy,
that
I know
email.
that.
All right, is there any other discussion?
No, just that I never realized we had over 200 feedlots. And
That
the
you get
lasers
paid
that-
for. There's over 600 actually.
No, the ones within the city, like if somebody has a chicken in the city limits.
I
those
do
ones-
not have jurisdiction in
I
city
I didn't think so, but I thought, well, because if it was in the townships, it would be, so.
Within St. Michael and Otsego, there are the ones that are required to be registered by the state, which is 10 and over in shoreland, 50 and over outside shoreland. They are regulated by Minnesota Rule 7020. The cities still kind of oversee the day-to-day permitting of buildings and such.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Grant is approved. Thank
For your
you.
time.
Thanks.
Alicia is here for the Water Resource Specialist from Soil and Water to adopt the Aquatic Invasive Species Delegation. There's some good information here.
Good morning,
This is always the good annual,
Yes, good morning,
Resolution?
Mr. Chair and Board. This is a housekeeping resolution. The local AIS prevention aid is a total of $10 million, and it's allocated each year based on number of accesses and the number of parking spaces at those accesses. Wright County's allocation this year is $227,249. And this resolution accepts that and then sends it over to Wright Soil and Water as the delegated authority.
Mr. Chair?
yes, Commissioner
And
Dolly.
then you'll have a budget breakdown for us in the future on how that's all going to get spent?
Yes, yes, because we're still tidying up our last spending for 2019. We'll have a little bit of rollover, which will add to the budget, and then we'll allocate early in the year.
With that, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to adopt the AIS resolution for 2020.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Potter, second by Commissioner Dahlhead, to adopt the Aquatic Invasive Species Delegation Resolution for 2020. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I see it as a resolution, but I'd like to have to stay up there so that when Mark Matthijs from Parks comes up, there's going to be discussion regarding a piece of equipment that they're doing today.
Yes.
Purchasing.
That'd be great.
Yep, perfect. All right. Any other?
I guess just, of the 10 million that the state gives, is there formulas for how it's distributed or?
Yes. $5 million is allocated evenly among the counties based on the number of public accesses they have.
Okay.
And $5 million is allocated based on the number of parking spaces at those accesses. If the board would like, I could share the allocation sheet with you.
It's nice for the people to hear, where all the money's distributed and that kind of thing. So, thank you.
I can't even imagine that they breakdown of the parking space one, because just
I know.
statewide, that's just messy. It's a very fluid calculation.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of grayness as to what considered parking.
right, yeah. It almost seems like it would be more usage would be, maybe, I don't know, maybe that's a more difficult way to do it, but we certainly have a lot of people, using the public accesses in Wright County, that's for sure, so.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Alicia, it's saying, no matter how you break this down in a formula, somebody's not going to like it, but it appears that they did something based on something you could stand behind, say, this is the reason why we did it this way, which I think for us getting 2.3%, personal opinion, just right out of the gate, it seems like it's a pretty fair formula because we didn't get shorted, but we also didn't get the lion's share because we've got a lot of lakes in this county, a lot of public accesses, but we don't have as many as like Crow Wing or a bunch of other counties like that. So it appears that whatever formula they came up with actually was somewhat fair.
Yes. I think we're ranked about 13th for the amount of money that we get, so.
Pretty good.
I think no matter how you slice it, you're not going to get a formula that everybody's going to totally love. It's, like you said, I'm looking at where we are within the list, I feel like we're adequately, I don't think we're adequately funded for the amount of money we need to actually protect the lakes, but based on the money that's there, we're getting a fair share.
And, and Mr. Chair, Alicia, so also, just looking at impaired lakes, so that might be something that they would look at in the future to add into the formula, so.
That's the one thing that a lot of them struggle with, is that there isn't a coffer of a large amount of money for treatment when lakes are contaminated that it's mostly everybody scrambling together to piece together as much money as they possibly can to try and treat it. So that's one thing that trying to get that a 911 emergency plan for lakes when they are immediately contaminated to try and mitigate it.
And it would, you know, be good to find more of the proactive, let's stop it. Let's stop it before it gets spread.
But that would be the best route. So with resolution, is there any other further discussion? Hearing none, all right, I'll start it off. Aye.
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 Resolution passes. Thank you. You're gonna stay tight, though? Yeah, okay. All right. Mr. Mattice saved up everything for the whole year.
Mr. Vetch, good morning.
Morning.
Mr. Chair, members of the board. I told Alicia beforehand that I was going to throw her under the bus, so I'm happy Commissioner Delight did it for me. Thanks. So the Parks Commission had a meeting on December 2nd. We canceled our November one due to weather, so rescheduled this one. First, I made some recommendations for your consideration. The first one is authorizing myself to establish a partnership which includes the purchase placement of a CD3 station at Schroeder Park along with the Cedar Lake Conservation Club. We got Karen, Bob, and Mike from the club and the audience today. What we've been working on, Soil and Water with Alicia and the Conservation Club, is a CD3 station is the one we're looking at is solar powered. It's a cleaning station. It's a little bit of new technology. Hennepin County's been using it, seeing great results from it. Without the regional inspection program, we're thinking this might be a way to educate, get people out there. It's got a shop vac, got air, compressed air. It's a waterless system, picker tools, things like that, so you can suck out your live wells, ballasts, clean off your boat, in and out type of stuff, and placing it at the access. After Cedar Lake Conservation Board met, they are looking at the partnership of a 50-50 cost share for the purchase and up to 5 years of maintenance for the first 5 years, and then renegotiating that maintenance agreement with them at that time. My suggestion on that would be every year we charge us, we have in our campground fees to do some projects that are specific for campers. Schroeder Park, main thing at that park is the swimming beach. If it wasn't for that lake, Schroeder Park would not be Schroeder Park. So I think taking money out of that surcharge for Schroeder Park with our balance has enough to cover that, you know, $16,000, $17,000 would be the way to go, is my recommendation and the Park Commission's recommendations as well.
Did you reach out to Clearwater River Watershed District about any of their AIS funds to, and maybe wanting to partner in on this?
Did we? No. No.
Is that the short
But
answer or the long
Soil and
answer?
Water Conservation District said they might be able to.
I mean, they have funds that they put in towards AIS stuff, and I mean, this is,
Oh, we can.
I mean, it's part of the watershed, and the biggest thing for them is they're trying to keep this stuff from going up the watershed, so they might.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I think it's a great idea to try. I mean, we've been
Yes.
trying to educate with the inspections, that sort of stuff. I'm assuming we'll still be doing inspections there?
Yeah, that's the plan. If I may, as far as the Clearwater Watershed District, I believe that the Conservation Club has the decision-making on their AIS projects. So generally, because it is only the lake residents and nearby get taxed for those projects, they basically work with the watershed district to distribute those funds. So, I mean, that would likely be up to them. If you guys want to talk about that,
Maybe Karen.
Gotta come to the podium. Yeah.
Karen Lawn, past president of the Cedar Lake Conservation Club. I'm not totally aware of how we partnered to get those AIS funds from the Clearwater Watershed District. Kathy Johnsrud is not in town, and she's our expert on all of that. But I know that we use those funds for treatment of AIS in our lake, and I would be surprised if that was something we could turn to that money for this station. I just think that because we do tap those funds a lot for our treatment strategies, and mapping and so on of the lake, that better if we can go without that.
Sure, and I just wanted to try and pull every avenue you can to try and lower the burden, since there's a lot of grant money out there in different avenues, and they're getting it in there, so.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, this would be
Thank you.
a great thing to
And
try and
Mr. Chair.
have.
Yes,
Yeah.
Commissioner Potter?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A couple questions. Schroeder Park is the busiest of our parks that with boat traffic, landings and that?
Oh,
Boat
I
traffic?
don't think so. I mean,
Okay.
it's a very busy park for boat traffic, but Pleasant Lake is a very busy park. It's got a large
Okay. Oh, yeah, I
asset,
suppose.
dedicated access. I'd probably put that one up
By
there.
going with this, my 6 minutes of law class that I accidentally went to a long time ago. Okay, the next part is.
Accidentally?
Accidental law,
Accidental.
yeah. Anyway, of the different stations they get, what is the price point on each one of these and which one would go in Schroeder Park? And are we looking for more than one in the future, one that's maybe stable, stays there, one that's mobile?
We, actually, I've had a request from the Limestone Lake Association to do a partnership too, but we don't actually own that access. It's a DNR access, but we own the land next to the access. It's a weird deal on that. The one we're looking at is a CD3. It's a solar station unit. We just paved all that parking lot, and to run power from where we have power, we'd have to cut up our pavement or do a directional bore. And I think the solar is going to be nice because you're looking at environmental product and you're looking at green infrastructure that way a little bit. That's about 32 with the,
Yes.
yeah, right here, $32,050. If we want to do a wrap that talks about the partnerships and the AIS, that's an additional $1,500 for that wrap that goes on there, a little decorative wrap. Otherwise, it's just a white looking thing.
So total cost was?
35, about 34,000.
34,000?
Yep.
So then the second part of the question, Mr. Chair, is are we looking to get another one of these in the future, maybe a portable unit that can go from A to B?
They have they do have a portable version yeah.
Yeah, I see
yes,
that in
it's
here,
on
but the plan is, do we plan on adding this in the future, one of those ones besides this one?
We'd have to bring that to, I don't know that it's necessarily a plan, it's certainly an option. For example, the AIS fund can be used on anything, including capital. So that fund is a source pending the will of the AIS Advisory Committee and the Soil and Water Board, but it's certainly a possibility. I know there are some other efforts to try to get some of these CD3 stations throughout the county, particularly those that have starry stonework.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Potter?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Continuing on with this, because, Cedar Lake gets everything. I'm just kidding. But, once they get this, then the other lakes are going to say, hey, what about us? Because you know it's coming. What about us over at Beebe Lake or Charlotte Lake
Right.
or Pulaski or wherever? I mean, so if it does turn out that it's working well, I mean, it's something that keep the board and the public minds open that might be something in the future that there might be another one.
I do think in that conversation, a lot of it has to deal with who's the jurisdiction on that access.
Yeah, I agree.
They allow that unit to be placed at a DNR access, at a city access.
Correct.
We're looking at this as a county-operated jurisdiction, so that'd be our decision. We have 7 designated accesses to lakes that we manage.
What's the maintenance on? Is it pretty minimal maintenance from what you guys have?
Once the tank gets filled, you gotta have a septic guy who we have come out the shoulder anyhow.
So there is a little bit
Take it
of
there.
cost
We're
operating it.
anticipating a $1,500 per year maintenance cost on the machine. And the Conservation Club at Cedar Lake has offered to take care of that cost for the first 5 years.
So, and I think it's a good thing that we, as we, either through the Water Task Force or through the future AIS committee, that we have discussions and looking at a way we find blended funding, whether it's through lake associations, through the county with those that have the parks, and then just using some of the AIS funds. Maybe we can get more of them out there over a period of time, that maybe within a 5-year period, we could have the heavily trafficked lakes in the county. A lot of it is giving, I look at these things as more often than not, I'm being a boater. I go out there, I take my boat out, and half the time you don't have the things really on you to actually really do a good job of actually cleaning your boat out. So giving individuals the good tools to actually do a good job is going to make a world of difference.
Mr. Chair, thank you. They do have a lease-to-own option as well, so that you can purchase more at one time and essentially lease them, so that you don't have to pay the.
I seen that. It was like that $850 a month kind of deal, or $850 or is it a month or whatever it was.
So this one, I believe we're looking at purchasing up front, but if we wanted to do more at more accesses, that's another option.
Commissioner Burrell?
Mark, wouldn't a shop vac with an extension cord be a lot cheaper?
Yeah, you'd probably go through quite a few of them. People just put them in their boat and take out.
Might get more costly.
Air
We
compressor.
could build a fancy box like this and then put the shop vac inside.
We'll tether on brushes onto it with a chain, right?
Have to be an awfully big
That'd be a big
shop
one.
vac.
The one that Three Rivers Park, no, because you said we were getting the station, we're not getting the station, because that's a specific model. You would be getting the Wayside Solar.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So which one does Three Rivers have? Do they have the station that's powered, it's not battery powered or solar?
I don't recall. I know that there's at least a couple of the solar waysides on Minnetonka. There's a mix throughout the.
But I guess I would like to know, I mean, because if it's solar powered and it's battery, whatever, if it's used a lot, it's gonna go dead.
In my conversations with the salesman, they said that they haven't had trouble. In fact, the Minnetonka ones were sending, they connected it to the grid as well, so they kind of did a combo. They were actually sending power back to the grid.
There you go. Then you can actually pay for some of your dumping fees.
Well, that's interesting, yeah.
I mean, to me, this is a good step, and I mean, I think if you got more of these devices out there in front of people, and they got to see what they are,
I'd
so
just
when they
like-
actually encounter them at the stations.
I'd just like to see how they work, though.
Yeah, I
For
agree.
ourselves, so.
Yeah, it looks like they'll be able to do 100 boats a day,
And
but
if this one works well, then we can discuss more.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But yeah, again, through Mr. Chair, with this.
They got what's called the CD3 outpost at most of their
You know, we-
stations, which is.
They have the
We
outpost,
tried
just a little one then.
Pilot project
Little
with
smaller
other ways to
and
do,
it's
it. We gotta
solar
keep
powered.
knocking on the door
Okay.
to try to fix this
I'm
problem.
just looking at their report we got.
It looks like that would be a less expensive model, too. It's much smaller.
Well,
All right.
Cedar Lake.
So with that, we,
I'll make a motion to approve the authorization for the Director of Parks and Recreation to establish a partnership and then purchase the CD3 Wayside Solar waterless cleaning system.
I'll second that.
that was a mouthful. We have a motion by Commissioner Dahlheim, second by Commissioner Hewson for the authorization of the purchase of the CD3 station at First Schroeder Park. Is there any further discussion?
I would just like to
Mr.
say
Chair?
that, no.
The motion was to purchase and develop the partnership?
Oh, purchase and develop, yeah.
Okay, and you're happy with myself working with County Attorney's Office and Mr. Kelly
Yeah, as long as the county
implementing the
attorney,
partnership based upon this discussion? Or bringing the partnership agreement back to the board?
no, I would think sign it, be done with it.
Yeah.
All right.
That's fine.
Trust in us.
Mr. Chair, I-
Well, the attorney's going to oversee it anyway.
That's what I mean. That's good.
So if they're willing to work with you, then I guess we'll be.
All right.
Commissioner Hewson?
I was just going to say, I mean, this is great that things are coming up like this now that are becoming available, because before we were pretty limited in, sending people to decon stations and that kind of thing. And I'm glad to see that people are getting innovative and looking at ways to make it, more convenient for people too, and to raise awareness. But also, hopefully we can really cut down on AIS.
And I want to give my appreciation to the Cedar Lake Conservation Club stepping up and helping make this funding possible to make this happen. If groups like that don't step up, things like this don't happen. And that really, it's people making a dedication of their own money to preserve the quality of our lakes. And thank you. I can't thank you enough for doing that.
Yep.
So.
Yes, thank you.
So any other discussion? It's a, Nope, it's not a resolution, I'm sorry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Perfect. All right, authorize the Park and Recreation Department to apply for 3 grants offered through Minnesota NDR local grant
Yeah, I
program.
don't know what the NDR is. So
NDR, I know, it's like, and
have fun with them. Nebraska Department of Natural Resources.
they're coming up here, why? No.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to, can we do it all at once or individually?
If you'd like to, I think that would be fine unless there's somebody that says they don't like one of them ideas.
Yes, the lawyer.
To do all 3 grants, yeah, I don't know.
I think you need to do them individually, but.
All right, I'll make a motion to authorize Park Recreations to apply for the grant for $120,000 for the $60,000 match for the purchase of grooming equipment and adding 1 unit to the fleet. And this year, you actually are getting to use your grooming equipment.
Yeah, it's been great.
Early.
Man, those are the people that waited a decade to buy a snowmobile because we finally have snow.
Second that, Mike?
I second that.
Yes, we had a motion by Commissioner Dahlhead and second by Commissioner Potter. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none on the $120,000, $60,000 match for the Federal Recreation Trail Grant. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes unanimously.
I'll make a motion to approve the outdoor recreation grant for $150 for additional playground equipment at BB Lake.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion by Commissioner Dahlhead and second by Commissioner Burrell for the $150,000 grant with $75,000 match for the playground equipment at BB Lake. And I'm guessing this is the one that when we went on our tour, was that a year ago? That you were kind of pointing out the area of which you were going to do this playground
Try to
equipment?
be creative, yes.
Yes. But my memory's coming back to
Good.
that wonderful tour. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the No Child Left Inside DNR grant. This is a $50,000 grant with a $10,000 match to create a nature play trail at Bertram, which I think is very interesting.
I'll second that.
This one I'm gonna have to hear more on, because this one wasn't part of our tour. All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Dahlhead and second by Commissioner Hewsome. So what is
What's a nature play trail?
is that one that the Boy Scouts were doing? Is that,
We've been trying to work with different civic clubs on trying to get that done. So like, you're gonna have stations and pods going out around the wetland. So like birds of prey, so people can come in, act like an eagle. Then you're gonna have like the food chain, a web chain, a food chain, going on. You're gonna have an archaeological dig site. So stuff like that, that's educational and playful at the same time, try to get people more into that.
now I remember.
Rather than swings and slides, it's more like that.
Yeah,
Nature trail.
Mr. Chair.
Yes,
Don't you have the Negless already built?
Yeah, we got the birds of prey station has been
Yeah.
built.
And there's a big
on
nest there,
on the
kind of.
far end of the trail, we've got the Rotary Club did started the edible forest, so there's gonna be an edible forest, what you can eat in the wild,
So you're planting apple trees and whatever type of fruits.
wild raspberries, wild
Yep,
strawberries,
yep.
things you can get out of the forest,
Assuming we,
hallucinogenic mushrooms.
assuming we, assuming we can beat the birds and the animals to it, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna put a scarecrow out there, aren't you? Commissioner Potter?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mark, on behalf of this and you and the Park Board, thank you for all the work you do on Bertram Lake Park. We have gone through the purchase of this park. Now it's a matter of finishing it out and doing all these things. And this is continuing. This won't be the last one we go after. There's a lot more to happen out there. But just let the people know that purchase has been done. Now we're starting to build it out.
No, it's not just us. The city of Monticello,
Correct.
they have 3 multi-purpose fields.
Yep, they got their first phase of their athletic fields completed this last summer.
And
And they'll be utilized next summer?
I believe they'll be
And they're
The end of next summer, I think, is,
Dan?
Yep.
I can't remember.
They'll be starting to play on those next summer.
So, yeah, the pond is done out there,
Yep, the irrigation ponds.
irrigation
we'll have
pond.
hopefully some better, stronger grass here now that we'll have some good watering
On their
availability.
fields.
Although I don't know, it's hard with that many kids that are out there when you're probably talking 500 to 1,000 kids out there every weekend.
Yeah, their fields will be better with the irrigation. You know, on our end, we'll just do native prairie grasses, less maintenance. Or burning. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
We have to still vote on that one. We had a motion by Commissioner Dahl and second by Commissioner Potter. Any further discussion?
Seconded by Commissioner Houston.
Oh, Commissioner Newsom, okay, that was the one before it was Charlie got. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Grant is approved unanimously. Brian Asselson, Chief Deputy Attorney, appoint members to the Charlotte and Martha Subordinate Service District.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Hopefully this will be a fairly quick item and get you closer to being back on schedule. Back on November 5th, you met as a committee of the whole and discussed having a 7-member advisory committee. As you recall, this is the sewer district out on Charlotte and Martha where we have a shortfall for the bond payments that are due beginning next year. Luckily, the right number of folks volunteered, I guess, if you want to put it that way. If you looked at the emails, we intend to have 2 representatives from Lake Charlotte, 2 from Lake Martha. There's 3 from each lake that volunteered, but Tom Larson, who is a longtime officer on the Lake Improvement District, indicated he was okay with being kind of an alternate or something like that. And the same thing with Jim Miller from Lake Martha. He indicated that Dorothy Peretti was interested in serving, and Rick Damer included a letter indicating his willingness. So I guess I leave it up to the board if you want to appoint alternates if someone would happen to move out of the district or feel like their work obligations or something didn't allow them to serve anymore, then one of these folks could maybe step up into that role.
Good idea.
That's a good idea.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Potter?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Brian, I do like the fact that a couple, alternates on there just in case somebody can't make it for scheduling conflict or whatever, and the more people, because this isn't going to go on for a long time. This has only got a few years to get its thing going, but it's good to have more people there. After we attended that meeting at the Rockford Township Hall, I think the people there are engaged to get this resolved and understand it is their problem, but we are here to help you get through this. So I support having the alternates on there.
Did we agree to have 2 from Lake Charlotte landowners and 2 from Lake Martha landowners, or was it just 1 of each?
2 of each.
2 of each?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Glyden, yeah, we're looking at a total of 7, so 2 from each, 2 living on each lake, 1 without lake frontage, and then county commissioner and a town board member, so.
Yep. And the way you have these written here, are these the way they came in first? Those that volunteered first, or?
I'm not sure, you'd have to look at the dates of the emails, Commissioner Glyden, but, there were a couple that came in on the 10th, which was the last day, but I had heard that, in fact, Jeff Kennedy, I think from Lake Charlotte, volunteered towards the end, but I had heard that he was very interested in serving, and he had the support of Tom Larson, so.
So you're recommending Tom and Jim Miller both be an alternates?
Correct.
Okay, all right, just wanted to make sure.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Potter?
Commissioner Glyden, yes, they indicated a willingness to continue to serve, but if somebody else was willing to step up, they would sit as alternates, which is big of them to do that, because like I said, no, I want to be on, but they care about the lake and they want other people involved, because the more people around there involved, the more they understand their issue out there, because the county is not in the sewer business. They are, and whatever agreed to back then, we need to deal with it. So I applaud both of them for saying, I'll step up, but if somebody else comes forward, and since they have the support of Tom and Jim on their respective lakes, I think that's a good sign.
All right, I'll make a motion to appoint the members of the Charlotte, Martha, subordinate. Subordinate Service District Sewer System.
Second.
With Tom Larson and Jim Miller as alternate.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Dahl, second by Commissioner Potter. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor for appointing members to the Charlotte Martha Subordinate District, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Appointments are made unanimously.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, just a note that since we're only, since Commissioner Potter is the only member from your body that will serve on there. Bob and I will work with him to set up a meeting, hopefully after the holidays, first meeting of this group, so it'll be nice. We'll just contact Mike to get his schedule, so, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
No Virgil here today.
We got Chad.
Chad. But he did say that you were going to sing this whole thing for us, so that was really nice of him. He said you were going to do it to a holiday tune theme?
Definitely do not want that. My daughter can attest to that.
So we'll give you the music.
You first. All right. Chairman Vetch, Commissioners, we have 3 items in front of you today. First one is the awarding contract 1910 to Mathewitz Construction. This is for our 19 and 38 reconstruction in front of the outlet mall. If you remember, we bid this last May. Bids came in at about $12.5 million. We recommended not awarding and rebidding this winter, which we've done, and to the tune we the bids came in $2.7 million less, and that was basically
substantially different.
And that's basically $2.7 million less to the county, because we are partnering with Albertville and Otsego, and then the Joint Powers Board for water, and most all the savings were on our construction items. So it's significant savings in our state aid account. So we're recommending awarding that. City of Albertville approved their share last night. And that includes a significant change to the outlet mall intersection, which they're funding, just to add lanes on the side streets.
Are they changing their entrance? Are they putting?
The entrance is the same spot, they're just adding.
But are they going to make it like 2 lefts in versus a single left in?
Yeah, I think, and then there's
Double left, yeah.
an additional right turn lane out.
Okay.
So,
So expanding that exit entrance substantially then?
yeah, so that'll be much better. So, any questions regarding that?
Oh, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the bid of the Mathewitz Construction Company.
I'll second it, and then I just did have a question quick. Who was the low bid at the 12 million before?
New Look, and they were 4th. We only had 2 bids last time, New Look and Vite. They were 4th and 8th this year.
Yeah.
This time, so.
So they sharpened their pencil a little bit, but bringing in the other companies really paid off.
Yep.
So a motion by Commissioner Potter, second by Commissioner Burrell. For comments, this would be one thing that would be nice for us to get out there in the media, kind of a rendering of the drawings and kind of talking about when it's going to take place, just because this is going to make a substantial change to that area. And it's, I mean, for the better. I mean, right now, you get through the busy holiday season. Right now, it would be nice to show people that there's intent to change this area and make it flow better, because I think some people said it took almost an hour to get out of the outlet mall over the Black Friday weekend, because the traffic was just that terrible. I felt bad for any law enforcement of our people that got inside there to answer a call. If they needed to get out, there's nowhere for them to go. There's not even a shoulder for them to drive out if they had to in an emergency.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
For Black Friday, I did talk to a couple officers. They did spend an inordinate amount of time out there directing traffic because people were violating the lanes and everything else. But in this particular case, getting back to last year's bid, because it was wet, because there was a gas line being moved at the time, there's a lot of things. The timing just didn't work out last year, and that's why there was a lack of bidders and the price was high. And I just, for one, want to say that Mathewitz Construction that did the culvert up on 39 by Nashwauk, fantastic job at traffic, the detour and everything else, did a fine job, and they're a reputable, solid company. They're doing a good job for us. And we did have a public engagement last year about this project, so it's probably now, because the bids didn't get accepted, maybe start that over again. Another public engagement to let them know, because most people up there that I've talked to have given them maps about what it looks like, because there's many different renditions before we finally get to a final one. But that whole northeast part of Wright County next year is going to be a mess.
Yep.
But
Well,
what do you do?
And that's where I say, Chad, if you can work with John and the press in the room here to get some sort of a sketch of what that's going to look like, and kind of get something put out there and kind of talk about where the work's going to come out with, and just get people ahead of it. So
Yeah, we can do that, and then I'd recommend we, once the contracts are sent out, then we'll meet with Mathewitz, and if we get a ballpark schedule from them, then we
That'd be
can
good.
promote that too, as far as when to expect the work to be done, so.
perfect. Yes.
But the point is, maybe when you have that meeting with the construction worker and they get a time schedule, maybe that would be a good time to have John out there, so. Yeah.
What, did we do any changes to the plan at all for the bids to come in that much less, or was just timing?
Combination, we did if you remember last summer, we did a separate small $150,000 contract to do some grading on the north side of 38, and then the utility company, the private utilities came in and followed behind us and did their joint trench, so that alleviated a lot of concerns, so all the utilities are out of the way, so the contractor, Mathos, can be more productive. And then we also modified the staging a little bit, but the actual scope of the project is exactly the same, what we're actually putting on the road.
Okay, so timing was everything.
Yeah, it was.
Good.
Mr. Chair. Commissioner, I'm just going to reiterate that there was a gas line last year that was in the way. When I talked to Gary Fain about why he didn't bid on it, he was concerned with that. I don't want to have my stuff in there while they have theirs, because if something goes wrong, they're going to blame me for it. I think that scared off a few people because it was just too busy. You know, wet didn't help, but it was just too busy at that point in time. At that point, now that gas line has been moved, that's one less thing. The trail on the north end, although it was minor, we got a good bargain on that with the dirt from fan companies about fixing that. I think that worked out well, but now people have progressed through their jobs now, so now they're a little hungrier again. So it was, it's good that it got down here and get this over with, because it's not gonna, and it's a lot of federal money in this. And last year we were advanced funding some of it just to try to anticipate some of the freeway and everything. It just didn't work out that way.
All right. Any other discussion, or do we have a motion and a second? Yep.
Correct.
All right. Any other further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. All right, item number 3, request to approve sponsoring. Two. Yes, the approved resolution authorizing distribution of a negative declaration on the need for an EIS.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve a resolution authorizing that no EIS is required.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Burrell, second by Commissioner Dahlheiden, requiring no EIS on the SAW 39 4-lane expansion project. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Resolution.
Oh, resolution, I'm sorry. I'll start off aye.
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 Resolution passes unanimously. All right. Perfect. Now we're back to item 3. Request to approve sponsoring agency resolution for a transportation alternatives project application for Dassel-Cokato School District.
I will make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Hewsom, second by Commissioner Dahlheiden. Is there any further discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Potter.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chad, most of this project is actually in Meeker County, correct?
Great question.
Well,
I believe it is, because the school's in Meeker County, but it's close to the border, but it's,
Yeah, this is similar to a lot of our other applications that we support. We'll be the administrator of the funds, ensure that's done properly, and then something we do for a lot of smaller communities, so.
where I'm getting at it, even if it crosses boundaries there, anytime we apply for a TA project is fine with me, because the more the merrier out here. Those people, like Commissioner Burrell, those people at the forgotten end of the county needs a little bit of that state money too coming their way.
Most of that, I think, will be in Wright County. It's just the very end of it
Goes in.
will go into Meeker, so.
right, it's
It's
pretty
right on the
much on the
line,
border,
yeah.
yes. And, Mr. Chair, Chad, anything we can do in this area, I have grandchildren in the school district, and it is, whatever we can do for safety projects, because, and there is some road projects also coming up on this, so that's going to help, because there's a lot of traffic, as we know, when kids leave school and try to take a left turn on Highway 12 at that time of day.
Well, they're moving fast on 12.
They're moving fast.
That's-
So this is, to give some other safe passage for kids will be a needed thing.
Very good. All right. Any other discussion? All right. All in favor, say aye. Oh, this is a resolution again. I'm sorry. Keep wanting to move things along faster.
I'll start.
All right.
Aye.
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 All right, there we go. Charlie's proud of that one, but I tell you, all three, Chad, you brought three good items here today. Well, one's really just business, but the other two items, glad to see the 1938 project and then this one here down in 12 on Tascocita Schools.
Mr. Chair, quick
Yes.
question. 19 and 241, 35, is that scheduled for 2021?
The funding is 2022. Virgil's got a goal of trying to deliver by 2021, but
Okay.
we'll see. The federal funding is 2022.
Okay.
We talked about borrowing, or not borrowing, but
Advancing.
advancing, yes. You just make sure you use the right terms.
Yep. We talked about that, so we'll see how it goes. It's a unique area, so.
Yeah.
And, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just thank Jeremy Carlson for his work with the corner bar, because I know these things are always difficult to do, and he was masterful in the negotiation process on getting this taken care of. I know the owners had some concerns, but Jeremy's been a calming force on that, so give him our thanks for the job he did there.
Yep. All right.
Very good.
Have a Merry Christmas.
You as well, thank you.
Too. We'll see you next year.
I tell you, Bob, you've lost your clout. You're way down on the list now.
I know, Board, we slid the word ditch in there, so I think that helped.
Well, and then you see Matt walked in the room and he cleared out the room. I mean, I think half the room left as soon as Matt walked in.
Hey, good morning, Board. The first item on the agenda is to approve a plat, The Landing, Cokato Township.
I'll make a motion to approve though.
Second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Dahlhead and second by Commissioner Burrell. There's a lot of huge discussion for the plat discussion for the landing in Cokato Township. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Mr. Kreiser gives it the okay. I give it the okay.
Opposed, same sign.
That'd be the reason
Passes
not to.
unanimously.
Mr. Chair, Administrator Kelly, the milers are back there.
All right, now we get one of these rare applications for a precious metal dealer license to the James Carroll Miller, his Miller Jewelry.
Board, we don't issue many of these, so what this does is it registers them as a precious metal dealer. So if anybody wants to know, they can come to our office. I think the enforcement of this is actually by the Department of Commerce, so.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you to approve the precious metal dealer. We have appropriate fees and the application in the file.
I will make that motion, Mr. Chair, and I will, need a second first.
I said they've been doing business up in Annandale for a long time, so I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Houston, second by Commissioner Burrell. Is there any further discussion?
It seems like we've only had like one of these come before the board in the last 7 years. I mean, it's really, yeah.
I should do my due diligence and figure out what's the difference between having a precious metal dealer's license versus a traditional jeweler, and that's, I guess it's at some point trying to understand the difference on that.
I would start with the attorney's office.
All right, hearing no other concerns, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Board, the third item on the agenda is just want to acknowledge to you that 2020 is going to be an election year. Not only do we have the presidential election primary, but we'll have a presidential nomination primary. In addition to that, we have a vacancy in Otsego House seat, which has a primary to it. So we actually have a January election, a February election, a March election. Townships will have March elections, primary and a general. So housekeeping-wise, I'm going to ask you to set the canvassing board to meet, and we have the dates out here for you guys. So the first one would be to set a special primary election canvassing board on January 14th. So we have primary for that open seat.
Yes. Motion made.
All right.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Potter, second by Commissioner Dahleden.
And what's the time?
Yeah.
Set the
Boy, we've got our calendar
county canvassing
completely.
board to meet,
If we
which we have to appoint new people to the canvassing board for this election cycle.
Right. You can, any one of you could be on these canvassing boards because you're not on the ballot, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the ones when it gets to general election though, for the year, would be different.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Is this one we have to have the city also involved in it?
I do believe we'll have the
The largest city mayor.
and the court administrator.
Yep.
But we need a time too, don't we?
Right.
Right, so whatever time works for you guys. I think the sooner you do it, the
What are these, January 14th, 4th, what are those, Tuesdays? I don't even know what, or
You know,
Wednesday.
14th is a Tuesday. We do have
Right.
some ditch committee items in the afternoon. It is a workshop day. I'm
how about
aware there's
8:15?
about 3 items on the workshop for that morning, so.
We also have the 5 PM informational meeting for ditch 16 and 19, and a hearing with ditch 20, 26 at
The
2:45.
15th would be a better
I mean-
day, I think.
January 14th is like,
Commissioners, could I offer 8:30? It'll be a very quick canvas.
I suppose there won't be that much.
on January 14th?
Right.
Depends, is anybody going to that thing at the LEC?
LEC, breakfast is at 8 o'clock.
Making it more complicated than it needs to be.
It-
8:45?
Well, we
it's
could
for- it's
probably have
for-
it at noon.
We could do it for,
Quick.
if it's
We
gonna be
could do it
quick.
at noon.
We could do it at noon.
Okay.
And you only need one commissioner or two?
Two.
Two commissioners. Same thing for the canvassing board of that election, which would be, the date that we're selecting is February 4th.
Do you want these acted on separately?
Well,
Yeah, we have a
Probably has
motion, a
to.
second on the
Yes.
floor for the
But
14th.
you might want to change the date on your motion, Mike, because I think,
No, the time,
just to add the time.
it's just the time, just
Time.
add the time.
All right, so we have a motion, we have a second to set January 14th at 12 noon for the special primary election canvassing board to meet. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes unanimously. Now we are looking to set a canvassing board to meet again on February 4th at time,
Again, that primary
You
is
wanna
for that
set the
House seat.
people,
This
though?
is the election for that, so it should be a very quick primary, or canvas for this one as well.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Does the administrator have anything else on February 4th that? might be a
Again, it is a
conflict?
Tuesday, regular board day. I don't see any other meetings on the calendar at this time, so.
10:30?
10:30?
10:30?
All right.
Okay. Motion's been made to set the canvassing board, February
Chair?
4th, 2020 at 10:30?
Oh,
Or, just when you, who let him in our room?
I know, who lets the attorney in the room here? Mr. Chair, members of the board, my only concern with it being a canvassing is that if you do it after the board, like today, we tend to go over. I prefer to just have it be a time certain if you could.
I'd say do that one.
You're going to have a mayor coming in, the court administrator coming down. I prefer.
One?
And
So-
for the
One would be better?
For 8:30?
8:30?
8:30. This is
Okay,
one precinct in Wright County with, I think it has a population of 500 registered voters.
Yeah.
So it'll be a little
I'll
quick.
change that motion to reflect 8:30.
I'll second
All right.
that.
Perfect.
And board, just remember, we're only canvassing one election, not one.
Just,
Perfect. All right.
Okay, continuing on that,
we didn't vote yet.
Vote that.
Nope, so we have do we have a motion on that one? Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I
Motion
second
is
it.
second.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, set for February 4th at 8:30 a.m. All right. Do
board,
we,
the third one is the presidential nomination primary. That election date is fixed in statute, so that'll be March 3rd, snowstorm or not. So we're supposed to have a canvassing board to meet the results of that. I don't have a date recommend this here.
We're going to have to cancel a meeting that month too.
yeah,
Second or third day following, so we got to meet the 5th or the 6th for that canvassing.
March 5th or 6th,
I'd say get it on the calendar now.
Oh,
as I say,
Yep.
she's recommending Friday, the 6th at 1 PM.
I'll make a motion to do it at 1 PM on March 6th.
March 6th
March 6th?
at 1
6th.
The 6th.
PM, all
The
right.
election's the 3rd.
Yeah.
You gotta give it a few days.
All right, so we have our canvassing board date, we have a motion?
Yep.
Motion by Commissioner
I'll second
Dodd,
it.
second by Commissioner Hewsome, to set the presidential canvass, or for the presidential primary, it will set a canvassing board to meet to review the results on March 6th at 1 PM. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, now we have all three of those set. Do we want to formally appoint
Appoint, yeah.
members? Yep.
Right.
All right.
We better do that.
First, I had a note here that Commissioner Burrell and Commissioner Vetch, you served as a canvassing board in 18, so.
And we have experience.
Yeah. I did it once, but that was a few years ago.
It can be different people, right? Or- Yeah. I'd volunteer to do the one on the 6th.
You want to make them
March?
different people for each one, or do you want to make it just clean, just have the same canvassing
That's
board
up
for
to you.
A,
Be
B, and
willing to
C?
serve on all of them, so.
I mean,
I give somebody else a chance, and if you want the same people for all three,
It'd just be easier, but.
It'd be easier.
I'll
Okay.
let somebody else.
If you're not, who's available for all three?
Well-
Let's go with that first.
I can do it.
Yeah, I would be available.
I'm fine too, but
And I suppose
you guys vote for
You want
some.
it?
Since Christine and I are going to have to do the ones in the fall
So
anyway.
let's you guys do, then you guys can be our canvassing board for the year. There you go.
There you go.
Boy,
That's our 2020 canvassing board. Commissioner Houston, Commissioner Dahlheiden.
Yeah, that's right, you could, Charlie.
you could.
But we're not going to let you. We don't trust you.
Well, I don't know, until filings ended, you still could put your name in there, you know?
That's true.
I'll let you guys do it.
The board, this was the easy one, so.
We got to vote.
All right, so we have a motion.
Do we make a
Yeah, I'll
motion?
second.
We need a motion. We don't have a motion. I need a motion.
I think you made a motion.
No.
I'll make a motion.
All right, motion by Commissioner Dahlheiden to Commissioner Dahlheiden and Commissioner Houston as the canvassing board members for the county. Seconded by Commissioner Potter. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
We did vote on the presidential one too?
Yep,
Okay, that's good.
Yep.
yep.
I just didn't remember saying yes.
All right, approve resolution establishing absentee ballot board, mail ballot, absentee ballot board. Oh,
Yeah, so board, this is a housekeeping type of thing. By Minnesota statute 203B.121, you're supposed to appoint the absentee ballot board. I recommend you appoint my office and my staff to accept or reject the absentee ballots. That's what we've done in the past.
I will make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Commissioner Houston, second by Commissioner Dahlheiden to appoint the Auditor Treasurer's Office as the absentee ballot board, mail ballot absentee ballot board, and the UCAVA absentee ballot board.
And that is a
Now I should quiz you as to what it stands for.
uniform.
Uniform and
Uniform and
overseas.
Overseas Citizens Absentee Voting Act.
Yeah, there you go.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, oh,
Resolution.
it's a resolution, all right. Commissioner Dahlheiden?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution passes unanimously, all right. Approve November revenue expenditure budget report.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Potter, second by Commissioner Dahlheiden. Any further discussion? Hearing,
There's nothing that you have.
No, board.
it looked,
Not that I haven't pointed out to you in the last couple months. 11/12 of the year, we're getting down there. The accruals are really what impact our final numbers. So we won't know what those accruals are until we experience them.
perfect. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. November revenue expenditure report is approved. All right. Board approved to seek quotes for equipment purchases utilizing the buffer enforcement grant. Mr. Matt Detchins here to talk to us about ditches.
Right, so board, I'm just going to preface this. This is that kind of tied in with that position that we have tentatively slotted in the budget. This is talking about the equipment for both aspects, parks and ditch. So Matt's going to walk you through this. And then he's going to walk you through the redetermination of benefits and 33, so.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Yeah, so this is just us seeking permission to seek quotes. Mark is going to be trying to purchase some equipment for his own staff. In with that, he offered to seek quotes for a diesel truck, a trailer, and a side-by-side, all in one lump sum, hopefully to get a better price in it. So this isn't approving the purchase. I think we kind of agreed at the meeting that we'd probably use the buffer enforcement grant dollars for it when we do move forward to purchase it, but this is just trying to get the ball rolling on that, so we're ready for.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion. We allow the Parks Department and Matt to seek quotes for the purchase of the equipment.
Second that.
All right, motion by Commissioner Burrell, second by Commissioner Houston. This is kind of brings us back full circle to the high bidding, the seeding costs, and kind of trying to utilize
And mowing and.
mowing and, yep, to try and keep the cost down on maintaining some of our ditches and some of the work that needs to be done out there since the private market is bidding substantially high. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Mark, you had a question?
Just quotes for now.
Yep.
Just quotes.
Yeah, so my second item is to schedule the public hearing for the redetermination of benefits on County Ditch 16 and County Ditch 19. We have the informational meetings coming up, so I would like to be able to send out the notices with the time of that public hearing. It just saves a lot of postage costs if you can include them both in there. So I suggest the date of February 19th at 2 p.m.
February 9th at 2.
I'll make a motion to approve the redetermination of County Ditch 16 and 19 for February 19th through 2020 at 2 p.m.
Second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Dahlheim and second by Commissioner Potter to set the public hearing for February 19th at 2 o'clock. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Excellent. Is there any chance I could get a couple of these lights just for this next item, the presentation? So my,
This is everybody's favorite topic,
Oh, yeah.
Ditch 33.
I figured you'd be very excited that I brought this aboard today, for sure, Mitch.
Well, I wanted to, we spent so much time, Matt, talking to landowners on Ditch 33. It wouldn't have been right if we didn't complete, 2019 without one more presentation about Ditch 33.
Figured it just would be bad.
We've got good news today.
Matt for
He's
being
got good
last
news
on the
today.
agenda.
Hey, you're just
Thank you,
saving the
Mark.
best for last.
I still want to, I question you, which one has, is it more politically hot-bedded, County Ditch 10 or County Ditch 33? I don't know.
It's a toss-up.
It's a toss-up.
Well, the difference is that you're running for reelection and he's not.
Well, and you also share a little bit with Commissioner Dahlheim now, so.
I do, he does have that, quarter mile, not even?
Yeah, at least you can
Trying to
spread
get
that
rid of
burden.
it. Trying to get rid of it.
You know what? I mean,
Fill it in.
We joke about that, but the thing is, this is our duty. We have to do this. If you don't want us to do it, then get a petition out to remove the ditch, abandon it.
Correct, I agree.
If they're on our system, this is our duty to do it, and people have to realize, and I think people down in Ditch 10 and Ditch 33 are coming around to realize that, so.
And I think that's the biggest thing right now is it just takes a lot of education to the public that, for whatever reason, some of you people that are now part of the benefited rolls because the rolls were so old that they are almost a century old, the benefited rolls. And now they come to find out that, you should have been part of a benefited landowner and the work should have been done slowly over time, but it didn't, so.
Yeah, and
We have to do, by statute, we have to maintain these systems.
Yep.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner
thank you,
Parker.
Mr. Chair. As Commissioner Burrell stated, it is our duty, by law, by statute, it is our duty to do this. Whatever they did 100 years ago would probably work great, and whatever the reason why they didn't deal with it then, doesn't matter. The here and now, the today, we have to deal with it, period. We're going to take these ditches on, we're going to get that, so it gets more under local control, so we don't have DNR and other outside entities jerking our chain all the time and jerking the landowner's chain. I want to put it to a local decision, local control. And these redetermination benefits, this helps get us to that point.
Good first step, yeah, and you'll see just with some of these pictures how drastic the issues are on the system and why there is need for, some sort of immediate action. The can was kind of kicked down the road for a while, and, something needs to be done.
This is another thing that we should work on to get on John, since he's in the room for a press release, is actually showing the county and all the ditch systems and talking a little snippet about 103E and what we are statutorily required to do to these ditch systems. Just kind of a tidbit to the public, so I think there's a lot of people that hear county ditches, they literally think it's the side of the road on the county roads.
That's what I thought.
So,
Before I got on board, that's what I thought.
I think if you actually visually put that map out there and show them where these systems are and talk about we shall maintain these systems and what does that mean?
Matt, doesn't Drainage DB have, you have one that shows all of the ditch systems on Drainage DB?
We have an overarching map. of-
Because I say, even just a link on our, even just a link on the county page to Drainage DB, just to show for a picture of the thing.
Yeah, so everyone can see.
Or a snapshot from Beacon. you
Or,
can just-
or, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, so just a brief refresher. I know you guys have heard a lot about this one, so you know it. But so County Ditch 33 was established in 1917. It runs through Monticello Township with portions in the city, and eventually stops at County Road 39. Doesn't quite make it to the Mississippi River, but it's over 9 miles long of tile. So that tile, much of that tile was put there in 1917, and that tile still exists there today, so it's over 100 years old.
And it's still in great shape.
They didn't use Chinese clay.
Yeah, some of it is clay, and it's not in great shape right now. So this is a really good description that I had from when Houston did a presentation a couple months back. So I stole this slide just to talk about, a tiled system, showing what a tiled system looks like in good condition and the impact that can have when it's in poor condition. The joints of the tile slipping, some sediment, what that does. And they estimated a 30 to 40% reduction in tile capacity when a ditch is in this state. This
And
is
ours
the
isn't that good.
Yeah, this is the state our ditch is in some areas, and obviously this is much worse than what they're describing here. I mean, all these joints are broken. Trees and debris and other things have fallen down. So it's way past that. So I would say closer to 60 to 70% in some areas. So reduction. So what does that actually mean? In the real world, what is the change when this happens to a ditch from a land use perspective? So you can see the aerial to the left here is from 1987. The one on the right is just from a few years later, in 1991. You can kind of highlight some changes between those, but I decided to do it for you. These are the areas that just within those few years were at one point farmed or completely dry and are now completely wet in those 4 years. You can't do anything with them. You can't get equipment down there. Some of them are in people's backyards. This doesn't also talk about the impact this has to the water table in the area, which I'm sure Charlie knows is a big issue for farmers. So it's not just that imprint of the wetland, but it actually increases the water table in the fields, reduces crop yields.
Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Potter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As far as reference, 87 was a dry year. 91 was a very wet year.
Yeah, well, and I'll show you just after this, though, kind of what my thinking of what happened at this time, because there was the MnDOT road project. You can actually see the
start of it.
One of the holding ponds here. So you have a holding pond right here, and then the MnDOT experimental highway project that went in during that time, which past boards worked with MnDOT to try to get some, payments back, just because of the issues that those projects likely cost. Nothing really became of it at that time, but that the impact those holding ponds had on the ditch was significant. It was likely a large cause of the problems on the ditch. But obviously, rainfall patterns and, wet and dry years has a huge effect on it too. But
We had a drought in the early 80s.
Yeah.
88 was the drought. 87,
No,
I don't think.
it was earlier.
87 was the beginning of the drought.
Beginning.
Yeah.
And I look back at these areas too, obviously farther back too, and they were, farmed all the way up.
Just 1 second. What is a drought? I don't know what it
I don't
is.
know.
Yeah, I don't know what it is anymore.
We don't know anymore, but yeah, there was two years that was, it was
I was
bad.
telling that to my neighbor. Do you even use the word anymore? It's just like.
And Mr. Chair, another point of this, when Min Road was being put in, when they were doing that, Park Construction is one of the main contractors there, the vein of gravel that they found was much larger and deeper than they first anticipated. That they ended up taking more material out of it than originally was planned in the project. And that by itself could have altered some of this too. Because when you have a turnipole, a scraper, and you have dozers pushing them out of the hole, that's how deep it was. that could affect a lot of these things around here because the mismatch of soils up in that part, any of us that paid attention to that, it's a mismatch of soils up there, and any disturbance in one affects the rest really close to it.
And just for Tom Kelly's benefit, the Twins won the World Series in '87 and '88.
In 91.
87 and 91, excuse me, you're right.
That's actually why I used those.
There you go.
Now, what does it look like?
That's why Matt pulled it.
Well,
It's
I mean,
much
if you go
worse,
back, I mean,
yeah.
bring that map back. And right now, I mean, a lot of the areas still today look like 91. Actually, more of it's
think it's
underwater
worse.
now than it is, more of it's underwater now than it was in 91.
Yeah.
I mean, it's progressively grown since then. I mean, I think now a lot of those areas are actually based on the redetermination of benefits are dedicated wetlands that, because it's been wet so long.
Mr. Chair, one other factor in there is these were prior to WACA laws that came in, and MnDOT was notorious, like it or hated, for not having very good data on wetland impacts when they're doing projects in that era. Pretty much every one they did, they're scratch your head now, how'd you come up with this criteria? Oh, no, we matched the law, that's fine, just be quiet. And that's another part of this program that people, there's a little history on that, since I was there and involved at that point in time, I dialed in what was going on there.
The real travesty is the fact that all these people that had lost value on their land incrementally over the last 30 years because it became dedicated wetlands,
Right.
because the system wasn't maintained. Had the system been maintained,
Right.
these areas would still be farmed today, and these lands would still have a resale value greater than what they do now is just wetland, and there's nothing we can do about it now.
Well, if you take this example, we're pretty close to like 100 acres there that were farmed and now they're, wetlands. Well, I don't know, would it $6,000 an acre somewhere in Monticello make sense? You times that by 100 acres, there's $600,000 that, someone probably purchased that land as farmland and then became a wetland that they weren't able to farm.
Not to mention the residual farm cropping that they would have gotten from the production of crops over that each year.
So.
Yeah.
Yep.
So one of the issues that I found is one specific MnDOT holding pond. It's holding pond C. I won't get into much detail because the main purpose of this is just to schedule future meetings to kind of talk about these issues, but there is likely a large issue with this holding pond. I think now is a good time to start on it because they are doing the road project from Monticello to Clearwater, and from my understanding, they will be working to fix this section of I-94 likely in the next 5 years is what we...
It's Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Biden.
Mr. Chair. It is on the MnDOT STIP for full reconstruction in 2025, which might be part of the reason why we didn't get the build grant, but this is going to have to be resolved prior to them reconstructing that road anyway. So best we get on this now and hopefully have some solution to it. So when they reconstruct that freeway between Albertville and Monticello, this issue is taken care of.
Exactly. And, we can use this time until that happens, to work with the city of Monticello and the township and come together and bring some sort of joint agreement to MnDOT. And I think that would send a better message and show them some of these issues that these projects
Definitely.
have caused local landowners.
And MnDOT will work very quickly.
Good to start now.
Well, we have to get in front of it early. I mean, if we want to have any kind of options, we got to start sooner than later, so.
Yeah. And with their permitting process and stuff too, that's
Yeah.
take them a long time as well. There are some other areas, I won't go into any of these very in depth, but some significant work up by the outlets of the system that should be done. Tile separating, this is on branch 3, which we've dealt with the landowners whose buildings and such are flooding out right now. So hopefully to get, enough of this work done here in the off season so that when spring comes, we're not trying to react to these issues, but we have a plan in place and try to fix it.
And branch 3 is one that if the precipitation stays like it has been, and if we do get another wet spring like we did last year, we're going to have some serious issues with some of these homeowners off of that 89th there. I'm really hoping I don't know if we're even on slate to get anything majorly done out there yet this winter.
Yeah, we'll have to.
There's a tile repair, and we can't do that in the winter,
Yeah, I guess depending on ground conditions, but there will be some permitting likely, which will take some time, so.
Right now, the ground is not frozen.
so
Yeah, so they probably.
the biggest thing is I want people to
Still be
understand,
mud.
like this area here, there's about 2 to 6 houses, depending on the year, that the water goes right up to their front door. I mean, it's,
Gary?
yeah.
Some other parts of the system that I highlighted, you can see here just how bad it is. Debris and stuff in front of the tile here.
Is that a tile or is that a culvert?
This is a tile, well.
That we're missing.
So there's a section of it.
That's how
right
good this
there.
system is.
So, and then
It
you
doesn't
can
look like they
see
flow well.
parts
Water
of
gets
the
high enough, it'll flow.
ditch. So I don't even know how well this is functioning, so it probably makes sense to do a tile inspection there. But keep in mind that this is over 100 years old, so does it make sense to inspect?
What a lot of the counties do in these tile systems, and Attorney Kreiser could maybe say, but they'll just run a system alongside it and just basically abandon the other side. And because to try to go in and where all the tile are, you're better off just, and I think it's allowed. Am I not right on that? Yeah. They just they just kind of parallel it and go off to the side.
Yep.
And it's still considered a repair.
Yeah, same size and capacity. The other one that we dealt with, this was the sinkhole that went into the landowner's driveway where their daughter stepped into the hole going to the bus stop. So I'm recommending rerouting this obviously around their house and their driveway because it does approach pretty close to their house as well. So that's a little bit more work. That's getting new easement areas, just based off of where I think the best route is to relocate the tile, and then obviously replacing that tile in those areas. So that'll be a little bit of a process to get those easements. This and the final one, there are two, and I just have one picture right now. These are actual culverts running underneath the railroad. Some of them are more than half full of sediment, and that is the responsibility of the railroad to clean those out. That's not a benefit of landowner expense. We've had trouble in the past, though, sending them notice and not getting any response. So again, I think that'd be another good joint effort between the city and the township and Wright County to approach the railroad company and get that process moving as well.
Mr. Chair, before
Yes.
he moves on.
Commissioner Potter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Matt, understand that under the railroad tracks behind my house, it took almost 20 years to get them to fix that. What they had, the pipes that were in there were old boiler pipes type with a very small flange. And when they separate all that big rock out of there, you're not going to be able to jet that out if it's got those big base rocks in there. We finally got the thing where we got them to replace the whole thing, but it took a long time. It's almost an act of God to get the railroad to move on these. But most of those old culverts that they had there were the pipes with a very small flange, so that's going to be problematic. And maybe they can throw a liner in it, maybe they can't, but I'm pretty sure there'll be some big rocks in there. That jetting is not going to help with that particular situation.
Yeah, and that could be where they decide that it's just best to replace it. But, obviously working with the railroad right away, we have to get extensive amount of permission before we can even go and work in there or replace it. I don't even go and inspect along the railroad right away just because, if you get caught on the railroad, obviously.
Yeah, it's a challenge to work with them.
So are you looking for a date to set a meeting?
Yeah, so I just, what I think now, in the winter months, to form a drainage committee, I think it'd be great to have representatives from the city of Monticello and the township, maybe even some landowners in certain cases, to start talking about these issues and, start finding solutions for them. Obviously, we have quite a few steps that we need to start working on before we're actually at the stage where we can do repairs. So I'm assuming it'll be a couple meetings.
Absolutely. Well, especially because I think there's important because there's value in some upgrades that potentially the city may be interested in funding in this system. We need to have some sort of a committee to discuss what those options would be as we're making repairs on the system, as they're one of the largest contributors of water to this ditch system. So I think having the city and the township as well, because once again, they represent a large number of landowners on there, and they had a lot of questions and concerns about the benefited roles.
Mr. Chair.
What are you looking at?
Didn't H2O reviewers inform MnDOT that they are responsible for their part of this? When they try to say they weren't part of the system, but they've actually got to pay their proportional share, which is good news for the landowners there because they've contributed to the problem. They should be part of the paying for the solution to the problem.
Yeah, we'll be sending them a notice here in the next couple of days. Yeah, they just sent me that yesterday.
Yeah, that was good news at the conference.
Yep.
Because that changes out the reapportionment of the entire system. So are we going to, I hate to remail it because it's so costly, but are we, I mean, I guess because it's to the benefit of landowners, but how do we get the transparency back to them before we re-adopt this new benefited roles with the reallocation?
Yeah, if it was more of a removal, then we would send notice, but this is actually adding landowners, so it actually would decrease everyone's proportion equally.
And I guess, because do you just even just, without reprinting out the rolls, do you send out a one-page letter to the benefit landowners saying that, hey, there was, that this...
Oh, what did we do wrong this time?
I've been hiding as long as I can, Mr. Chair, members of the board, on this ditch item. I've come forward to the podium. What I can tell you is underneath the drainage code, section 103E, there is a provision for remailing notice to someone who was omitted and then getting them, basically asserting jurisdiction over them at that point in time. So if we need to add a property owner to it, we'll just remail notice to that property owner, give them notice of it. We haven't finalized the benefits on this yet anyhow, so we have to have we'll have another hearing anyhow.
Another hearing,
So
okay, and then
whenever
we can kind of
decide to go
discuss it
forward
at
with
that point.
Yep.
And we can have available at that meeting at that time, the new rules, if anybody wants to see how it modified.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll put it online as well.
Yep.
Good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll have to look out there and try to get, I guess I can reach out to some people that I know that would probably be good interested players in this. I think you and I both met, maybe we come back and get a list of people to come back and formally adopt it at a later meeting, members for this committee.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, let them know it might be, somewhat of an ongoing, few meetings here coming up before spring to kind of discuss this issue, and I'm more than happy to schedule them in the afternoons if that works better.
Sure, yeah. We can even meet out in Monticello for that fact if it,
Or evening.
Yeah, you may have to do evenings for some of those people.
Yeah.
And,
Well, and that's exactly
whenever you
it.
need me.
Yep, we can bring Mark to join us too.
Yep.
Be good
Yeah,
time.
since I've got that long area in my district.
I will work with you on that. I think until we get some people to formalize it, and I'll kind of set a date, and we'll bring it back just to inform the board when we set this committee, formalize it. All right? Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Mr. Chair, I saw Chris had got a hold of me via email. I apologize, when we set the canvassing board dates, not the members, but the dates, obviously we picked the election day to canvass. We can't do that.
What I thought.
And the support.
The question is,
So the primary for the open seat, she's recommending January 15th at 1:30 PM. She's even reserved this room already.
January 15th at 1 PM?
1:30 PM.
Mr. Chair, I'll amend my motion to switch it from the 14th to the 15th, and you were second.
yeah, I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Potter, second by Commissioner Dahlheiden for January 15th for the canvassing board at 1:30. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Right.
Opposed, same sign.
All right, so for the election day for
Passed
that open
unanimously.
seat, she's recommending February 5th, not that Tuesday, but February 5th at 1:30. She's reserved this room already.
And Mr. Chair, that one, I'll amend my motion to switch it from the 4th to the 5th, and Commissioner Houston was a second on that.
All right, we have a motion, or amending his motion by Commissioner Potters, Commissioner Houston.
And, I'm sorry, what was the time?
February 5th at 1:30.
1:30.
Yes,
All right.
I will amend my motion.
She amends her motion. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion amended.
And then Commissioner, I just want to affirm, I think we did pick Friday, but for the P&P, which is going to be on Tuesday, that we set,
March 6th.
March 6th.
right, we recommended the canvas on March 6th at 1 PM, this
Right.
room.
That's okay yet, though.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just want to make sure we did set it at 1 PM.
Yep.
She's reserved the room, so I wanted to match what she said.
Perfect. All right.
Thank you, Board.
Susan, you holding up there? We still have a ways to go yet.
Hopefully not too, won't take too long.
Go pretty fast.
Should we go pretty quick here? All right, Committee of the Whole, Administrator Kelly, you want to walk us through in 3 minutes or less here, the Committee of the Whole from December 3rd on lobbying services?
Yes, sure. Yes, sir, I shall do my best. As mentioned, we met on December 3rd at a Committee of the Whole.
I'll make a motion to approve that. I'm sorry, Lee.
That's all right.
Wasting time.
Good to keep it light. We had all board members in attendance, as well as staff from the Attorney's Office, Health and Human Services, and representatives from Flaherty and Hood, including Bradley Peterson, Shane Zart, and Daniel Marks. The first part of the meeting, we really talked about what was done in 19, which was our first year with Flaherty and Hood on legislative lobbying services. It was primarily focused, and our contract was limited to work around the valuation and concerns with the XL nuclear generating plant in Monticello. There were basically a few items that we were looking for some assistance from them in 2020. Those priorities were about the state assessed valuation at the Monticello nuclear power plant and issues relating around it, potential bonding for a dental clinic or center in the new government center building, a project that we're working on finding more information on, as well as drainage and other county issues. So a lot of the middle part of the meeting really talked about the bonding process and how that works, and some information in consultation with Sarah, our public health director. So kind of a summary on that. They were to come out with a revised proposal based on this meeting. We received that late last week, and I will anticipate moving that forward to a board meeting in the future. So really the middle part of this meeting talked about some of the work they did last year and the bonding process and what we would like to do relative to the drainage items in 2020. It's a very high level summary. The recommendation was to authorize staff to work with Flaherty and Hood in formalizing a legislative services contract for 2020.
Perfect.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
All right.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Dodd, second by Commissioner Houston to approve the December 3rd minutes and recommendations. All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. And then we have the Personnel Committee minutes from the 6th.
November 26th?
November 26th, yep.
Yep. Okay, Mr. Chair, I'll take that. The Personnel Committee of the Whole met, and members present, the commissioners, and Administrator Kelly, also Sheriff Derringer, Bob Kivala, Sean Johnson, Tom Kelly, Heather Lemieux, and Sue Jean. And the discussion was the 2020 salaries of elected officials. And County Attorney Tom Kelly discussed information related to compensation for his position and requested a 8.75% increase to bring his compensation closer to that of comparable counties. Recommendation was to authorize annual compensation of $165,775 for the 2020 county attorney. Sheriff Derringer said the employee engagement in the Wright County Sheriff's Office is strong and things are going well. And there is just a little typo in the next sentence. The Wright County Sheriff's Office is the third largest. We're missing a T in the state with more contracts than other sheriff's offices and largest school resource office division in the state. The largest patrol division in Minnesota. So his salary is ranked 18th and he's requesting a increase. So the consensus was to increase his compensation to a salary of $148,000 for 2020. The Auditor Treasurer, Bob Kivala, discussed his request for an increase of 5% for an annual compensation of $139,156. We had some discussion and authorized an annual compensation of $138,162.52 for 2020 for the Auditor Treasurer. the county commissioners. Discussion included compensation that would attract qualified people to serve and accurately reflect the level of responsibilities. So the recommendation was to authorize a salary for the County Board of Commissioners for 2020 for $49,800. With that, Mr. Chair, I will move the minutes and recommendation.
All right.
And I guess we
Second by
actually,
Commissioner Dahleden.
And then not
No, we have to do those separate.
Right, we
so-
have to do those
Yep.
separate.
For the minutes,
All
not the
right,
record.
any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Now we have resolutions. Of the resolution for the,
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution for the
attorney.
responsibility and duties of Tom Kelly.
Second?
County
Second.
attorney.
All right, motion by Commissioner Dahleden, second by Commissioner Potter. Any further discussion? All right, Commissioner Burrell?
Aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. All right, next one is the, I'm sorry.
I will make
Turn my
a
page.
motion, oh,
To
sorry,
set the county board
Yep.
salary.
for the county board.
All right, motion by Commissioner Hewsome,
I'll second that.
second by Commissioner Burrell. Any further discussion? Commissioner Dahleden?
Aye.
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 Oops.
Aye, I'm out of order. Still works the same. Passed unanimously. Setting the sheriff's salary.
I'll make a motion to approve the sheriff's salary.
Second?
Motion by Commissioner Dahleden, second by Commissioner Potter. Commissioner Hewsome?
Aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Auditor Treasurer?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to set the auditor treasurer's salary at $138,162.52.
I will second that.
All right, motion by Commissioner Burrell, second by Commissioner Hewsome. Commissioner Potter, you want to start it off?
Aye.
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 No.
No? Okay. Motion passes 4-1. All right. Any other further discussion? Hearing none? All right, there, so we are now down to, sorry, so many pages in this booklet here. All right, we are schedule the committee of the whole for the county administrator performance review.
Yes, Mr. Chair, this is one of the permissible closed sessions under Minnesota Statute 13. I'd like to get my review done if possible prior to January 16th, so hoping to get this on the calendar before we get too much farther.
I was thinking you were going to say January 1. I'm really like, we're
No,
going to have to hurry.
we have a little bit of time, but want to make sure we got it on the calendar before the last meeting.
Actually, I was going to recommend January 1.
Yeah, we should just, you know what? Let's just bring you in on New Year's Day, right, Lee?
Well, I think we should just go over to his house.
We could, then he could cook us lunch.
Breakfast.
Breakfast, there you go. We'll meet early, we'll wake your kids up.
I'm hoping my culinary skills don't play into the review process.
Well, I think they should.
You could cheat and just have your wife do all the work, and you could just say, oh, I've worked all night.
All those kids in the
All
house
right.
will be exercising daycare skills.
What dates are we looking at?
I'm pretty much open.
January 6th, you want to go on a Monday? Or you want to do it after the board meeting? Or I don't know.
No, the board meeting, the 7th, we have negotiations.
So,
Well, we could do it right after the board meeting on the 7th.
I don't know.
We may have a long meeting,
We
though.
might have a long meeting there, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking, like, I go either the 6th or the 8th.
Or we could do it the 13th before HH's meeting or whatever.
Yeah, whatever, I'm good with that,
All
too.
those work for me right now. The 13th is the most open of the days for me.
Okay.
Let's do that one then.
All right, January 13th it is.
Make a motion to set a performance review of the county administrator for January 13th
At
at
time 11 or
10:30.
10?
Well,
10:30?
we have a meeting
Another
at
meeting.
1:30?
at 11 o'clock.
We do?
Derek and I.
Oh, yeah, we have,
Oh.
yeah.
So make it at 9? Would that be okay, or is that?
No,
meeting-
9 would be fine.
Is that 9, is that meeting close to here?
Yeah, it's in the building.
Yeah.
9 o'clock.
Not that it's really important or anything.
9 a.m.,
9 or 9:30?
9:30. There you go. 9:30, is that give us, yeah, because we're meeting at 10, I gotta look at that one.
It's 11.
It's 11, yeah, we're good. If we can't get this review done in an hour and a half, my goodness.
Yeah, we have other issues.
We have other issues, all right. 9:30 on January 13th. All right, perfect. We had a motion?
You got a motion for me?
Second.
All right, motion from Potter, second from Commissioner Dahleden. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And motion passes unanimously. All right, letter to the Otto Bremer Trust acknowledging award of grant funding to Wright County Community Action.
And Mr. Chair, Commissioner Delyden and I would kind of brought this forward. We both sit on the Community Action Board, and Otto Bremer Trust, which is part of, they're the trust fund for the Bremer banks, gave us a very generous donation to add on to connect the building that we have next door. And if I may, could I read this real quick?
Yes.
Okay. Dear Otto Bremer trustees, the Wright County Board of Commissioners would like to thank Otto Bremer Trust for providing a very generous donation of $28,879 to the Wright County Community Action to expand its administrative and program operations space. County Commissioners Charlie Burrell and Mark Delyden are members of the Board of Directors of the Wright County Community Action, so the County Board sees firsthand this organization's ever-increasing benefit to our area. As such, we also know that your contribution will allow more of our most vulnerable residents to receive the help they desperately need. Furthermore, we are excited about the positive change that Otto Bremer Trust and the Wright County Community Action will bring to our community. We value what this partnership will yield and the services provided to the residents in need. With more operational space to expand Wright County Community Action's services, our residents will have improved outcomes to their financial security thanks to your generosity. On behalf of the Wright County Board of Commissioners, we would like to thank Otto Bremer Trust for the financial support provided for the well-being of our community. As mutual partners and fellow stakeholders in public service, we appreciate those who also are passionate about working together to create a larger long-term impact. We are proud to know we have a partner with Otto Bremer Trust to help make a bright future for the vulnerable residents of Wright County. And this will be signed by the board. But I would like to move forth that letter be sent to Otto Bremer Trust.
Very good.
I'll second that.
All right, motion by Commissioner Burrell, second by Commissioner Delyden. Any other further discussion?
It was, just so you guys know the amount, it was somewhere between 25 and 32,000.
No, that's the exact amount.
It's 28,000 something.
Oh, was it? Oh, there it was on there. I'm sorry. I didn't see that.
Very generous, very nice.
I tuned Charlie out,
And Commissioner Burrell, can I friendly amendment, can you put Mark's name first instead of yours?
No.
It's alphabetical order.
There you go. Either way, I win.
Yeah, either way he wins.
Anyways, we
did
have,
it on purpose.
all right, any other further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. All right,
Thank you very much, Board.
letter's approved.
No, thank you.
All right, now we need to do one of the last final businesses of the year is the resolution establishing the 2020 budget and certified levy.
So moved.
All right, motion by Commissioner Potter, second by Commissioner Delyden. Is there any further discussion for the resolution? Hearing none, I will start it off. Aye.
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 Resolution passes unanimously. All right, now we have the resolution for the authorizing the 2020 Health and Human Services budget.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Commissioner Potter, second by Commissioner Hewsome. Any other further discussion? Hearing none. Commissioner Hewsome, you want to start off?
Aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Now that we are already a half hour behind, if there's no serious objections, I think I'm going to forego the advisory because we already are a half hour late on a meeting that we were supposed to be already having. But if there's any pressing things, I will allow 3 minutes here.
Mr. Chair, maybe at the January 31st meeting, if we don't have anything, we can kind of talk about the AMC conference a bit.
Yep.
Because that might get into a little more than 3 minutes.
That's what I was thinking. I don't want to open up that box, and I think we'd have a hard time keeping
think
it
so,
within
too.
the realm that we need.
Yep.
With that, I appreciate everyone's time this morning. It was a good meeting. We will adjourn at 10:53.
We have a meeting back.